Hey everyone! Hey, look, it's Steven. Hey, it is long time no see. It's my first guest of 2020. Hey, if you've looked at the title of the video, you will see that we are going to really attempt to break down our thoughts on Oscars 2020.
As best as we can.
Yeah, which Oscars is this? What's the anniversary? 90... Do you know?
I do not know.
That's what we have this for. It's called the internet, everyone. It's called Google. But no, this is the 92nd anniversary of the Oscars. This is something that I swear every year I either care about this or I don't care about it. I don't know. I like to think I don't care about it, but I do. What about you?
I care deeply. No, I enjoy it. I love to see if I'm right or wrong, but this has been a great year in film, so I'm pretty excited.
Yeah. Now, as everybody who's watched this, or at least people who have subscribed to my channel know, I've been in China for 4 months, so I just got back, and so I missed quite a few things because these movies didn't all come over to China, but luckily I've caught up on quite a bit of them. I still haven't seen 3 of the best pictures, though. Have you seen all of them?
I'm way behind. I haven't seen a lot of the movies this year, but there are some great ones out there. Lots to choose from.
Yeah. So the best pictures, I just want to go over them real quick, see if you've seen them all. So 1917 we watched together.
Yes.
Did you watch Ford vs. Ferrari?
I have not.
We haven't seen that one. Okay, there's one. You saw The Joker.
Yes.
I have not, because it was banned in China. Oh, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood we've both seen.
That was great.
Parasite we've both seen.
That was great.
Irishman. Did
I
you watch it yet?
have not set aside enough time to see The Irishman.
It's a long one. I watched it.
3.5.
Little Women.
I haven't seen it.
I have seen it. Jojo Rabbit.
Have not seen it.
I haven't either. It wasn't in theaters. It was in theaters when I was gone. And then finally, Marriage Story. You have that's in your queue. You told me that.
It's in the queue.
And I have seen that one. So yeah. Well, we'll get to the best picture at the end of the video, but we will first and foremost. So how we set this up is we like to say what we want to win, and then we have a separate category of what we think the Oscar. The people who are able to pick and actually vote for these things, and the actors, the producers, people who have the ballots themselves, what we think they'll actually win, right?
Yeah.
You ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right. So first things first, we're gonna cut out all of the short categories. When I say that, I mean best documentary short documentary, live action short film, and best animated short film. It's because we haven't seen them. And so we don't really want to get a blind guess, even though it's always fun every year, and then we both are terribly wrong. Even though we could do some research and then kind of guess how other people are guessing. But yeah, I don't really want to do that this year.
But a big shout out to all the theaters who are releasing some of these shorts and films so that people can actually see them. They're usually a category that's kind of forgotten, so
right.
We'll catch up at some point.
I feel like there needs to be some type of, I mean, like you said, there's special theaters that do it, but like not everywhere gets the opportunity to like have these presented to like everybody. So I really feel like there needs to be a big push towards like putting them on Netflix or some kind of streaming service. At least, I mean, even if you like pay like a little bit of money for maybe like some kind of, you get like 3 weeks before the Oscars. It's like kind of like a 13 days of Christmas or Halloween, 25 days of Christmas.
You can get a temporary pass and just kind of go check them out.
It's like it's the countdown to the Oscars, and so they'll have like an opportunity. There might be someday in the future, maybe an app where you kind of get access to everything. Yeah. You can watch it all.
That would be great.
That would be really cool. Yeah, you heard it first from us. So let's get into our nominations and our picks. So we're going to start off with the sound editing and sound mixing categories. These are the ones that I always mix and edit up. So that was lame. That was really lame. So best editing, sound editing. So what do you want to win?
I would like to see 1917 take this one. I thought it was a great movie. The film was set up really nice, and the sounds were great.
Yeah, that's my pick as well. That's what I want to win is 1917. What about what you think will win? What do you think the Oscars
I think
choose?
1917 actually will win. I'm hoping for the best. I think sound was a big part of this film, so I think that's why it should win.
Yeah, so the editing was really phenomenal, specifically in this movie. I know that there was long tracking shots and whatnot, and so I think the sound plays a key role, or the lack thereof, because there's certain spots where like you kind of get deaf a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to spoil any bombshells, right? Yeah, I'm really lame. So please give this video a dislike for all of our really lame jokes. So I actually I think Ford versus Ferrari might win best sound editing, or 1917. So now like I said, I haven't seen Ford versus Ferrari, so this is totally a shot in the dark. But I've heard so many great things by so many good people that I trust their opinion.
Yeah.
And I had friends like Joseph, who's my roommate and co-host of my podcast. He said that Ford vs. Ferrari really surprised him because he thought it was just like one of those kind of biographical movies that are like, oh, we see these every year, we see these at the Oscars, and so. But he's like, it was different. It made me care about cars, and he's like, and I don't care about cars, and so if I know anything about cars, is they're loud. And especially if they're racing each other,
yeah.
I think that sound probably plays a key role into this. So I think that might be a good guess for me. But speaking of sound, let's go from editing to mixing. What do you have here?
My pick is for Joker on this one. I thought it was a great film altogether. It's my pick in some other categories, but for that one, it's mine. But I think 1917 may win again for this category.
All right, for sound mixing, actually I have a will and want of the same, like you did for 1917 for editing. I think the movie that's going to win for this one is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So I think Quentin Tarantino really particularly took the time to really care about all of the sounds in this movie. Particularly, he had a really good eye for the production, which we'll get to later, but also just everything that's going on in the movie. Just there's so much attention to detail in this movie that I think it's a really a sure way to maybe have this one as winning best sound mixing. But I think your choices are really good too. So yeah. What's our next category?
I think we are moving into film editing for our next category.
What's your picks?
Oh, my pick. So for mine, I went with Parasite on this one. I felt like the film itself, it wasn't too short, not too long, and it told a really great story. And it's one that has gotten so much momentum during the award season, and it deserves to win. However, I think that for the Oscars, it's going to go with Joker in this category. Okay. I think there may be a good chance for the film to win there.
So. I'm in the same boat as you with Parasite. I want that one to win. Mm-hmm. I think the film editing is really fantastic. I really was blown away by just the shifts and dynamics that happen in this movie. And that's all I'm going to say about Parasite, because I really want people who haven't seen it to watch it. The other thing I want to say is for film editing, kind of going back to my thought on sound editing, I think that Ford versus Ferrari might win for this one, because it's a movie about race cars. It's a movie about racing. You have to have really good editors for that. Now, I cannot speak for the Joker because I haven't seen it. It's the same with Ford vs. Ferrari. I'm just kind of shooting in the dark here. But there's really good categories here. Jojo Rabbit, The Irishman, and then we already mentioned Parasite, Ford vs. Ferrari, and Joker. So those are, yeah. So I think for film editing, I think our picks are pretty safe here.
Yeah.
And the other ones, I'm like, they're good, but I don't know if they're going to win for that particular category.
Right.
All right, what's the next category?
Next one, we have Best in Makeup and Hair.
And? He's like, Q, cut this part out.
So for Best Makeup and Hair, my category went to Joker. I love the way that they set up the costume and how people, even the extras, were dressed and how everything looks. The looks and sounds of this film really do enhance the way the story was told. So that's my pick. I do think, however, the Oscar decision makers will go with Maleficent on this one. Things were really done for this film as well, and it got a lot of buzz. And part of it is the look. The movie looked really great as it was shot and done.
Yeah, that's one of the movies I did watch in China, Maleficent, so I think they did a really good job. I actually cared more about the second Maleficent than I did the first, personally. So for my picks in makeup and hairstyle, I'm actually shooting in the dark again. This is not going to be a recurring thing, trust me. I just wanted to tell the people who are watching this. But I think that Judy will win for Best Makeup and Hairstyle. I think because they're going back to that timepiece of Judy Garland and Renee Zellweger. I think will probably the people who crafted this probably really thought pretty hard about the time period that this movie was taking place in, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I think the audience will pick. And the ones that I want to win, I think I picked 1917 for makeup and hairstyle. I think, we watched... No, wait, you didn't watch this. I watched it with a friend. They Shall Not Grow Old, the World War I documentary that came out last year, the Peter Jackson one. And it put the World War I footage in color, right? And so I think this shows a really good attention to detail for the English uniform, on top of the fact that, they're in France, and 1917 is kind of near the end of World War I, and so, it shows that fatigue, and the makeup and hairstyle, I think, did really, really well. So that's the one I want to win, but who knows where this will go, right? All right, let's go on from there to production design, right? So we got... Okay, so for production design, I kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier. The ones that I want to win, and the audience, the choice that I think they will choose, the Oscars, is both. It's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think this movie is a production set movie. It's everything that Quentin Tarantino wanted to build. There's a lot of interviews out there that talks a lot about how much attention to detail that he had. It was we had to make sure this sign in the background matched this particular time period for this particular year. It had to be exactly, 1969, right? And so it had to be exactly all of those particular spots. And so, that's kind of my choice in production design. What do you think?
Mine's close, just a little bit different. I have Once Upon a Time as my pick, but I think that the movie that will actually win is The Irishman. It's also one of those films that got a lot of buzz, and because of the way things were set up, you have a great cast, a lot of people behind the scenes that put it together, and it does look good. The finished product looks great, so I think that they may win here on production design.
Sorry, I'm looking up one particular thing. Okay, good. Thank goodness. I was thinking I was right. I was trying to see if, did I say 1969 was, the right year? And I was correct.
Yes.
I was
yes.
That's the year I was trying to think of. Okay. So you chose Irishman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and yeah, interesting. But you wanted Once Upon.
I want Once Upon a Time to win.
Okay. That's some good choices. All right, so number 6, the 6th category we have is Best Costume Design, right? So Best Costume Design, this one is kind of a shot in the dark for me, mainly from the fact that I have not seen Joker or Jojo Rabbit, but I think, and this is something that I always go to, I think that period pieces always win, pretty much, for this one. And so I pick Little Women as my choice, and also the choice that the Oscars will choose themselves.
I was similar, just a little bit different on what I want to win. I always believe that the period pieces will win as well, so I did choose Little Women for the Oscar. However, I would like to see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood win for this category. Again, I thought there was a lot of good detail and decision making going on and how people looked. Nothing where you could really point it out and say, hey, that's not part of that time period. Everything really looked correct. There was a lot of accuracy there.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's a good choice, too. I mean, just going back to what we talked a little bit about, that attention to detail that Tarantino had. I think, there's a lot of memorable costume designs for that particular period. 1969 was pretty wacky clothes. And so, yeah, it was good. All right, next is what category do we got?
We have Best Visual Effects. And for this one, my pick and the Oscar are the same. I'm going with 1917. Even before the movie was released and available to everyone, you saw a lot of behind-the-scenes specials and clips of how the movie was put together and how things were done. And so I think there's a lot of momentum there for it to win specifically for this category. I think it's the favorite in a lot of these kind of categories, and I think it's going to take it.
So I didn't know about that because I wasn't here. I was in China, so I didn't know about all that back behind the screen, behind the scenes kind of thing. So I actually went a little different direction there. I think that's a really safe and good choice because it was phenomenally shot, right?
Yeah.
Especially with the visual effects as well. But I think for me, this is the only category that this movie pops up in, and so I think this is the only one that I think it will get. And it's the will and want. So it's what I want to win and what I think will win. And that's Avengers Endgame. And so I think this movie was a marvelous... marvelous. I didn't mean to do that. But no, I mean that sincerely. A marvelous achievement on, this a culmination, a combination... I can't talk. It's a nice... what's the word I'm thinking of? Accumulation?
Yes.
It's a nice accumulation of all of the Marvel films, and it's finally paid off into this two-part series, right? Infinity War into Endgame, and it was really emotionally significant to me, and satisfying as well. Yeah. So I think that it deserves something in this Oscar season. So
Absolutely.
That's my choice. All right, what's the next category?
We are on to Best Cinematography.
This is going to be a hard one.
This one is a hard one. A lot of great films that came out, a lot of great cinematography to choose from. For my pick, I went with Lighthouse. It is a black and white film. It is very engaging, and you just enjoy start to finish the entire film. However, I think who will actually take the Oscar again is 1917. I think this is the category, if any, that 1917 is almost a sure one.
Why'd you spill your beans? Here's the thing. I have the same exact choices as Steven on this. I really want The Lighthouse to win. Yeah. I love that film. In fact, I've been quoting it nonstop to you when I go by your office or just other coworkers. And it's just a really fantastic film, and it's shot in such a wonderful way. If you don't know anything about the details of that movie, you should look into how Robert Eggers kind of crafted that film, because it was pretty hard, it was hard work. But yes, I think that cinematography. Let's see, Jaron Blakish, I think, is the Lighthouse cinematographer. I'm probably saying that incorrectly, but he is up against the Titan, and that's Roger Deakins. And Roger Deakins is a legendary cinematographer. Blade Runner 2049, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, a lot of the Coen Brothers productions, as well as Denis Villeneuve, like I just mentioned, but also something... why am I blanking on camera? I'm literally blanking on camera of what the movie is. Shawshank Redemption. He did cinematography for that. He's done so many great works, and he is a titan in the industry with cinematography, and so this movie is a beautifully shot film, and so I do not doubt that this would go to him. Yeah. Right. So, our next category is Best Original Song. So, we actually already did a cut of this, but the camera cut out, but we're going to do it again. It sounds like, based on what we picked, we have pretty different picks for what we want to win and what we will probably see the Oscars pick. So what do you choose?
Yeah, for my pick, I went with Stand Up by Cynthia Erivo and Josh.
And that's in Harriet?
That's in Harriet.
Yeah, I saw that at Best Buy. I want to buy it.
It's really good. I thought Cynthia Erivo did a great job. She's a great actor, done some great films. Check out Widows, check out Bad Times at the El Royale. And I love her voice.
Now I know.
I love her voice. She is fantastic, so I'm definitely going with that one. I thought the song was really well done. However, because this is Oscar season, based off of the momentum, the awards in these categories have kind of been floating towards Rocketman with Elton John. So I think it may win again, just because answer of award season has been it's Elton John. So you can't always compete with that. I kind of agree. I do think that's where it's going to go. But big shout out to Cynthia Erivo. I thought the song was fantastic.
That's a great choice, and honestly, I think that Rocketman is a much better film than Bohemian Rhapsody when it comes to really portraying. Well, obviously Elton's still alive, whereas Rami Malek, who's portraying Freddie Mercury, he's not, right? But I feel like Rocket Man took some pretty big leaps compared to the other one.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, comparing those is weird, but my point is that that's the only. I think that's the only thing that Rocket Man's really put up for into this category. So that would be amazing if it did win because it's Elton John, right? Now I went a different direction. I would probably. I'm changing mine a little bit now, but I think I would want Elton John to win. Because I think it was such a fantastic film. Or the other thing that I wanted was the funny Frozen 2 song, Into the Unknown. That song is really hilarious. I was in China when I saw that, and everybody in the audience was laughing just from the 80s montage of him singing at the camera, and then there's another face in the clouds singing that way, and it's just really fun. But the audience, what I think is it may win. The Oscar might go to Randy Newman's song in Toy Story 4. I think Randy Newman is a pretty safe choice, but you bring up Harriet and Rocket Man, then I don't know. I think we had some pretty different things there, which is good.
It's good competition in this category.
Yeah, it's good competition. So let's move on to
Best Adapted Screenplay. My pick here is going to go to Little Women. I haven't seen it yet. But it does have a lot of popularity going on. It is kind of getting a lot of buzz, deserved from what I understand. So I think that I would like to see it kind of win. I like from what I'm hearing, the take that was put on this movie and how it was kind of redone. But I think the Oscar will actually go to The Irishman in this category. It's one of those categories where I think The Irishman is going to pick up some. It won't pick up in the categories that you think it will, but it will pick up in the categories where you may not expect it. I think this is one of those times.
I think your both what you want and what you chose is probably the correct sequence there. But I have seen Little Women, I will say, and I have not read the book, the 1868 book, and I have not watched the 1994 adaptation. And now, obviously, Greta Gerwig, she adapted it for more modern audiences. I want that one to win, and that's the one I think the Oscars will choose. But at the same time, Irishman, that's a really strong contender, especially for this particular category for adapted screenplay. So yeah, that's a really good choice there. In fact, I might adapt mine, 5 minutes before it's announced. Right, that's the big thing here. All right, next is original screenplay, right? Best original screenplay. So for my want, I would really like for Marriage Story to win this one. I think that Noah Baumbach is somebody who's finally getting recognized by a lot of people. I've been a fan of his for several years. I've really liked Meyerowitz stories and Francis Ha and other films that he's directed. Squid and the Whale. Some of these movies are on Criterion. A lot of them are on Netflix because he's got a good deal with them. That's the one I want to win, but who I think will win is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think this is a really cool original screenplay of real events that happen mixed with Tarantino-esque, alternate history.
Yeah.
And that he always thrusts in there, and so that's who I think might win for this one. What about you?
Yeah, I matched mine this time. I think that Parasite is my pick for Best Original Screenplay. I thought it was a great story, really told really well. And I think that the Oscars may actually go in this direction this time. We'll see what happens. But again, all great contenders for this category.
Yeah, that's a really tough category.
Yeah.
That's
whoever wins, they deserve
with.
it. Yeah.
Right. What's the next category?
We are going to Best Foreign Language Film in this category. And, it deserves all of the popularity, all of the buzz, and definitely the win if it gets it. But my pick and where I think the Oscars will go is Parasite for this one. Again, if you have not seen it, check it out. And I am not really big on details and things. I just like to go to films and watch them, like to enjoy a movie, and don't be afraid that it is captions on there. Go see it, give it a chance. You're going to get a really great story. So that's my pick for this category.
Yeah, that's a good message too, especially for people who haven't seen foreign films. Don't go into there with the mindset of like, oh, I have to read this, because once you overcome that hurdle, you will be exposed to so many amazing films. that are just, some of my favorite films of all time are things that are outside the United States or outside of England or English-speaking countries. So yes, Parasite deserving of its win here. I think this is probably the most obvious category. I think maybe we'll get to animated features in a second, but when it comes to obvious picks. But I think this one is pretty sure in way of this movie winning. The other thing I want to mention is, yes, Parasite, I think, hands down, will definitely win this one. But I do want to mention the other films.
Yes.
Because I think these movies are always talked about during the Oscars. But I have, unfortunately, not been able to see any of them but Parasite.
Yeah.
It's the same with you, I think. There is a Les Miserables new film, not the Tom Hooper sing-along song. I don't know anything else about it besides the title. Corpus Christi, Honeyland, and Pain and Glory. And Pain and Glory is the only one that I do know of, and that's with Antonio Banderas.
Yeah.
But I have not seen any of these films, but definitely go check out these movies. So after that, I think this next category is a big guess for both of us, because I've only seen one of these documentaries. Have you seen any of them?
I have not seen any in this category. I am completely guessing here.
So what is your pick for best documentary feature?
I decided to match them since I'm guessing, and I went with For Sama in this category, and just taking a shot in the dark.
Well, I mean, that definitely could win. I have no idea because, like I said, I've only seen one, and the movie I did watch was American Factory, which was on Netflix. You can stream it if you want. It's a really great, eye-opening, kind of inverse, thing that happened in America, where a Chinese company came over here and invested in a small town, a rural, Midwestern town that, we're both from the Midwest.
Yeah.
And so you're a little bit up north, and I'm more in like the middle, but we know the sensibility of the people around us, right? And so this is a tough film to talk about, especially when it comes to like losing jobs and then getting a new job from an outside force that it's a struggle to really talk about. So it's a really good movie. It's a good conversational piece, a good dialogue on what is to come, right? And we're just kind of looking at the future of what business will look like for global,
the future.
Global perspectives. All right, next is what?
Next, we're going to the Best Animated Film category. Lots of great choices here, too. My pick, I'm going with Klaus. It was released on Netflix. It's a holiday movie, Christmas time. Really great story told. Go check it out if you have access to Netflix, and get Netflix if you don't already.
Yeah, a lot of these movies are on Netflix, so go watch it.
Yes. A really great story. I thought it should win, so I picked that one. But I think the Oscars may go with Toy Story. Toy Story is kind of the heavy hitter out of all of them. The others don't have that Disney backing, so it looks like that Toy Story is going to take it. But I would like to see Klaus win. It was really good.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with Toy Story being probably the pick. Toy Story 4 is probably going to win this category. But I went a little different route. Another film on Netflix, a French film, I Lost My Body, is a movie that I think is groundbreaking in the sense that it really it talks about the soma, right? The soma being the body itself, and the connection with parts of that body and like how we interact with our environment. And so it's a really cool and interesting animated film. And if you haven't seen it, and like I said, like what Steven said, don't be afraid of subtitles. Watch this in the original French. It's a really, really cute movie with not easy answers. It's a heavy movie. So, but it's a really good pick. But yeah, Toy Story's gonna win. So, next we have Best Original Music Score, right?
Yeah.
Best Original Music Score for me, what I want to win is 1917. That's a movie that I really, really enjoyed, and the music really came through. And I think the score for war movies is kind of a sure-in for me. I've always enjoyed war movies, to at least the score, and I like listening to those particular ones when I'm either driving or studying, right? And then the thing that I think will probably win for score might be The Joker. Now, I have not seen the Joker, so Steven could tell you more about that. But I think that mainly because I haven't put the Joker in any other categories, in the sense that also Joker's nominated the most, and so I'm sure they're going to win something. And so this is where I would like maybe to see it win, or at least what I think the Oscars will choose, right? So what about you?
Yeah, I enjoyed Joker. I think it was great, but my picks are a little bit different. I went with Star Wars to win this one. They always have. It seems to be, and I'm not a die-hard Star Wars fan, but I tend to enjoy the music pieces or remember them after watching the movie, so I kind of went with that as my pick. But I think in the Oscars, I think 1917 will take this category.
Well, yeah, good choices right there. 1917 for both of us. Now our next category is a big one. This is the hard one. This is Best Director, and so Best Director is always one of the biggest ones. And so this year, what I think the Oscars will pick, I'm gonna choose the will first before the one that I want. I think the Oscars is going to choose Quentin Tarantino for this one. I think he's won in the past, yes, but I think this is the most mature thing he's made. Period. Because I remember the first time I watched this movie, I was like, I like this movie. It's like maybe not as much as Django or Inglourious Bastards, but I didn't really have that adrenaline rush as much as I had, the first time I watched those movies. But I've seen it twice, and I'm like, wow, this is it gets better after you watch it more, for me at least. And so I think this is a really mature film that I think the Oscars will go to him. But the one that I want is and I might mispronounce his name, the South Korean director Bong Joon-ho, for Parasite. I think he is deserving of this particular category. He did a phenomenal job directing this insane movie, and honestly, it's about time that we see somebody from South Korea really take this reign in Best Director, and it's really cool that this movie's gotten so much attention. I love that.
I'm with you right along those lines. That's also my pick, is Parasite. I thought it was just such a great movie and very well deserved if Bong Joon-ho wins. But I think as well, another contender that may get it is Todd Phillips for Joker. So many people went and saw the film. It was really well done how it was told. You can tell that he really put work in to make this a great story, to retell it. It was a risk, and it paid off. It worked really well. So if either of those two win, I'll be happy. I'll also be happy if Quentin Tarantino gets it. But again, this is another category with great contenders. It was just a great year for film.
Right. What's the next category?
We have Best Supporting Actress. We're getting to the heavy hitters now.
Yeah, and we haven't seen some of these movies, right?
Yes.
So this one's a little hard for both of us, I think.
Yes.
But what's your choices here?
So here I went with Laura Dern
for the What You Want.
I went with Laura Dern.
She's great.
For Marriage Story. I have not seen it yet, but I like her work. And what I'm hearing about this film so far is really showing some great things. So that's kind of who I would like to see get it. I think this may be one of those categories where there's a little bit of an upset. And I don't mean it as in the person shouldn't win. But I think it's going to go to Florence Pugh for Little Women.
And what you just mentioned, my want and what the audience will pick, or what the Oscars will pick, is Florence Pugh for me. So I have seen both Marriage Story and Little Women, but I have not seen Bombshell, Jojo Rabbit, or Richard Jewell. But I think it really is up there for Little Women and Marriage Story, and maybe Jojo for Scarlett. But she's in other categories as well. So I don't really think it's going to her. So I think it really is between Florence and Laura.
Yeah.
But I think Florence is my choice because she was just phenomenal in Little Women. I actually think she's the supporting actress, but I think she takes a really big role into that movie, and she does a really great job in it, and I loved her. And I loved her in Midsommar, too. She's in that movie. Do you know that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's the main character in that. So, what's the next one?
Next one is Best Actress. Again, a lot of great contenders. I don't think that everyone, there were some great performances this year. And so there are a few snubs happening. My pick, I'm going with Cynthia Erivo for Harriet. I just love her work, both musically and on the acting side. I think she's great, and she should win. The Oscar, I think, however, is going to go to Saoirse Ronan for
She's Irish, Saoirse. It's okay.
Saoirse Ronan for Little Women. I think will win. I
said her name wrong for 2 years, man.
I apologize. I do enjoy your work. And
she's watching this.
She's watching this. She's a fan of mine, and so I apologize.
Oh, it's good. Now I haven't seen Harriet, and I actually have not seen Bombshell or Judy yet. I have Judy in the corner. I know that Renee Zellweger has won for. I think, did she win the Golden Globe for Best Actress? Okay, so she is a good contender for that. But who I chose and who I want to win and who I think will win is actually Scarlett Johansson for Marriage Story. I think she plays an incredible wife / ex, soon-to-be ex-wife, because that's the whole plot of Marriage Story is they're getting a divorce. And so she does a really great job here, and I know she's in both categories of actress and supporting actress, but I think this is where she shines even more, even though I haven't seen Jojo Rabbit. But the sheer fact that she was in here, I think that's who I think should win. All right, moving on from Best Supporting Actress, or Best Actress, we are now going to Best Supporting Actor. So I think the Best Supporting Actor here, of all the people on this category, I think it goes to Willem Dafoe for The Lighthouse. Because that movie is amazing, and his performance is amazing, and he's not on the category. I'm sorry. Snubbed. Another Oscar snub, just like Ethan Hawke was snubbed last year for Best Actor in First Reformed. I'm not going to go there, though. But Willem Dafoe did such a fantastic job in The Lighthouse, eating dirt for you fine folks at home. But anyway, this category is stacked. This has Anthony Hopkins for The Two Popes, Brad Pitt for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Joe Pesci and Al Pacino both for The Irishman, and Tom Hanks for A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. That's a stacked category. In fact, I think it's more stacked than Best Actor category. There's legendary people in this particular category. But yes, not Willem Dafoe. But I think both of the people that we want is the same person. So who do we want to win for this one?
Brad Pitt for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Definitely deserving, did a great job, and told the story of the stuntman, someone we rarely hear about. You usually get a documentary or behind-the-scenes footage, but this was part of the film and part of the main part of the story. So, great job, wonderful performance. He did well. However, I think that the Oscar is going to go to Anthony Hopkins for The New Pope. The Two Popes.
The Two Popes.
Sorry.
The New Hope. The New Pope.
The New Pope is completely different.
I mean, he could play an emperor of sorts. I mean, he was kind of the bad pope in the movie. Spoilers if you haven't seen it. I think the Oscars might go to either Joe Pesci or Al Pacino for this one. I think that they're legendary performers, especially with Scorsese as well. But they haven't seen the light of. At least Joe Pesci hasn't been in a movie in a long, long time. Al Pacino's been in a few movies in the mid-2000s and late 2000s. But I'm probably willing to bet that Al Pacino probably did the best in The Irishman. However, Joe Pesci did fantastic as well, especially his return to cinema. This is a really good return and kind of a good farewell if this is the last thing he does. And so I really think that it might go that way. But yeah, Brad Pitt is what we want to win. He has so much fun in that movie. He did great. So what's the next category?
Next category, we're going up the ranks here. Now Best Actor. My pick in this category is going to go with Joaquin Phoenix for Joker. Again, I thought it was a great film. I thought it was well done. I thought Joaquin Phoenix gave us a great performance and told a great story of Joker. Again, this entire production was a risk. No one knew how it was going to go leading up to the film. The performance, there was a lot of back and forth. He was getting criticized, and then people were like, well, maybe he'll do great. He did great. And so if he gets it, he deserves it. And however, I think the Oscar is going to go to, there will be an upset I'm predicting. Adam Driver is going to take this one for A Marriage Story. But again, if he gets it, well deserved. His work is not only diverse, but it's just consistent, well performance across the board. He's doing TV, he's doing films for many years, and every performance is always significant, has weight to it and substance. So if he gets it, he deserves it as well.
Well, he had 3 movies this year. Did you know that? Star Wars, Marriage Story, and The Dead Won't Die, the zombie movie with Bill Murray. But, you know, Adam Driver is phenomenal, and that's a really great pick. In fact, that actually is the person that I want to win. The person that I want to win is Adam Driver, but the person that I think will win is the opposite, right? Is Joaquin Phoenix. I think that Joaquin Phoenix is an amazing actor, and he has done some amazing roles. I don't think, like I said, I haven't seen The Joker, so I could not tell you his performance in this film particularly. But seeing him in P.T. Anderson movies like The Master, or in You Were Never Really Here, or Inherent Vice, it's okay. He's just going to slowly not make any attention to this whatsoever. Yeah, but I think the Academy is going to pick him for this particular role. I think it's a good safe bet to pick, and so yeah. You ready for the last one, the biggest one?
Ready, the big one of the evening.
Best Picture.
Best Picture.
Okay, let's talk about them. Let's talk about them for like a second.
Yeah.
Okay, so we already went over a little bit about the ones we have and have not seen. So let us go with, we'll both do the one that we think will win, and then we'll say the one that we want to win. All right, what's the one that you think will win?
I think Parasite will win for Best Picture. It would be a great it would be a great night for this film, and I hope it gets it. It was really, really well done.
So the one that I have that I think will win is 1917. And so I think 1917 is getting a lot of the accolades that it deserves, and I think this is the safer choice to pick, because as I'm looking over at yours, we just did the opposites of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because these are the movies, it's really between Parasite and 1917. I think those are, because the one that I want to win is Parasite, and the one that you want to win is...
Parasite.
No, you want to win. Yeah.
Parasite.
But the Oscars will choose 1917.
Right.
Oh, so we were the same. We were the same.
Oh, I thought we were... Okay.
Oh, yeah. No, I just wrote it wrong. So yes, we chose the same thing.
Yeah.
We want Parasite to win.
Yes.
But we think the Academy will probably choose 1917.
Yeah.
That's the safer bet, because usually foreign films don't win Best Picture, but this one's different.
It should win.
It should win, right? It's a really good film, but I wouldn't be upset if 1917 won either.
Yeah, it would be okay, but I would be happier if Parasite wins.
Yeah, me too. That's why we have it for our what we want to win, right? But yeah, do you have any last thoughts about these Oscar movies?
Really great year in film. I don't know if I can say I'm confident in all the nominees. Lots of snubs this year. Let's just throw that out there. Lots of films that got left out. Shout out to all the great films that, even though they weren't nominated for an award, really gave us a reason to buy a ticket and go to the movie. So let's keep that going for next year.
Yeah. Well, I want to say thank you, Stephen, for being the annual host with me on the Oscar predictions. It's always wonderful seeing you here.
Great to be here. I enjoy this, and I'm looking forward to the Oscars.
Yep. Looking forward to this upcoming Sunday. We put this out a little later because I just came back from China, and I had to catch up on some of these things. Now, like Stephen said, we have not seen some of these movies, but I think a lot of our picks, maybe we don't have the utmost confidence in, but a lot of them are pretty good strategic picks. Yeah. So, anyway, please leave your own thoughts down below. Who do you think is going to win? What do you think is going to win? Etc., etc. What do you think of our choices? And tell us what you think. Like this video, comment down below, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you next time. I'm not...
Jonesing around.
Ooh, thank you.